Welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Podcast. Today, we're going to give you a jump start into the fall of 2025. We're going to talk to you about ways that you can get back to work, stay focused now that the summer's behind us, and stay focused on the things that matter most, both in business, without losing focus of the things that matter most in life. This episode is one that we all need to hear, and we're excited to have you join us today. And here we begin. Stephanie, how are you feeling now that the wonderful summer's behind you? And a lovely fall is ahead of us. Let's dive into today's episode and really give our audience some real tactical tools on how to dive back in.
Well, I'm probably not the only one that is feeling that wave of emotion today, being the first day of school for one of my kids. Tomorrow will be the first day of school for the other. If you are in business and a parent specifically, or someone that's just in business and also focuses on what's important in life outside of business, I mean, this is the time to reflect on a very busy, hopefully very fulfilling summer, and also start forecasting, what do I want the rest of the year to look like?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. For those who follow me closely know that I dropped my oldest daughter off at college this past week. And so there were all kinds of emotions and thoughts of, how did I do as a dad? How can I do better with my remaining children? And while continue to be a great dad to my daughter, who's now kind of taking her first big step into adulthood. And when I say be great for my family, it means as a provider, right? I'll say as a presider, meaning like to actually lead my family in things that are spiritual, and to be a protector, right? I think those are the three P's that I focus on as a dad: to preside, to provide, and to protect. And so as I think about that and the mission of this show, right, which is successful businesses and significant lives, very interested in digging into this with you. Stephanie, I've always admired the way in which you are such a great mom. Like, you're just so tight with your children. You and your husband have such a lovely marriage. You've got such a great, deep spiritual life, and you just crush it in business, right? So I think there's a lot of people that want to learn from you as to what you're thinking. Like, how are you getting yourself back into work mode without, again, losing focus of all of the balance maybe that you felt over the summer?
Well, I'm reminded that life is not about balance. We are never going to find that perfect balance. It's about counterbalance. And I took time actually in August. I said, this is my month of no. And we said no to anything that was not specifically moving the needle. In my family, we turned off a lot of the extracurricular activities that my kids were doing. And in my business, I said, if it's not specifically serving the client or serving my team members, I'm just going to say no to it. And that was an important time for me to open up my schedule. And then it really helped me mentally refocus on what's the most important thing that I'm doing to move the needle in my business and in my family and in my personal life, so that now I can go into the rest of the year and have some clarity and have some refocus and decide, what do I want to put back in?
But that's a powerful lesson, isn't it? It's almost like you get this opportunity to say no to everything. And I've heard actually people talk about this when it comes to their business credit card at the end of the year. They will go in and they will actually ask their bank not to shut down their bank account or whatever their business card is, but they'll just change the card number. So it forces everything to say, oh, you need to insert your new credit card number into, right? Your payment didn't go through, so it's time to update your credit card information. And at that point, you're able to take a look to say, am I really using that? Is that really valuable for me, right? Or am I on just some kind of recurring payment plan and that thing's going to hit and I'm not going to actually be using that thing? And so I hear you almost a similar strategy with life of you just completely changed your card number, so to speak, said no to everything, right? And now everything's coming at you saying, hey, Stephanie, we're ready to re-engage you, right? And you're like, well, let me take a look at that. Is that really aligned with my bigger purposes and roles, right? Is that maybe similar strategy that you've employed here?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's all about those pendulum shifts, because the beginning of the year, I was feeling the pressure of, business isn't coming as easily as it was. I'm going to need to find ways to fill the gaps in business. We sort of borrowed from business in 2021 and 2022. People that weren't likely to transact that year, they did because they felt that sense of urgency. And so it put us ahead in those years. And now a lot of people are feeling, less transactions happening in the market. So I strategized in the beginning of the year and I said, we're saying yes to everything. Every opportunity, every way to gain business, every way to connect with our clients, we said yes to everything. And then, the pendulum shifts back as the year goes on. And I say, now we're saying no to everything. And let's see, now we have some data of what worked in the beginning of the year, because there's a lag time, right? So what did we do in January that brought July results that I want to continue through the rest of the year, and what didn't bring results, and what did I say no to in August that I don't want to put back in? It's like a cleanse, right? It's like a cleanse of your time, and doing the same thing in my family. We had that pendulum shift of so busy, and like Justin, you had said, if the kids say, do you want to play volleyball? We said yes, we will play volleyball. Anything that wanted to be done in the family, yes, we said yes to family time. And now we're shifting. Kids are back to school, or we're getting back into routines. Even if you don't have kids, you're probably taking advantage of the summer months, and now we're getting back into routines. So what are the most important things to say yes to in your personal life, and the most important things to say yes to in your business?
That's such gold in there. I hope everybody that's listening really paid close attention to that, because again, you're learning from somebody who has, even though she doesn't believe in balance, or that balance is a myth, right? Which is true. You have, Stephanie, such a success track record in so many areas of your life. And I think that is maybe a really critical key to that is, what are the most important areas of your life? I think for you and I both, it's our families, right? It's our faith. And it's when those things come knocking, we just say yes, right? We've just determined when God asks something of us, we say yes. When our family asks something of us, we say yes, right? And then those become the big rocks, and everything else fits around that, right? We have to say yes to those things that are most important. I know, again, for me, I had a lot of time to reflect. I had a 13-hour drive through the night, which is wasn't exactly how we planned it, but we tried to fit in more than we had anticipated. And one of which was, and I'll throw this in there, my nephew is a starting quarterback of Olympus High School in Salt Lake City, Utah, and he's a senior. And I've always wanted to see Luke play a football game. And it was like we were like 12 hours away from when we had anticipated wanting to leave to his game. And it was like, let's just wait and go to his game. We're never going to get to see him play again. Like, this is it. And so, yeah, it was pretty uncomfortable driving through the night, pulling over on the side of the road somewhere to like get a few hours of sleep so we could make it home safely. But that decision right there was formative for me. It's like there's certain things in life that you don't want to miss. One of which was that I flew out to be a part of my daughter's parent orientation. I thought, when am I going to get to do this again? Right? It's a university where my wife and I met and went to school. So there's a lot of nostalgia there. And it was like, this is the first time I'm going to have a freshman in college. I want to go see it and participate in it. And could it have come at a more convenient business time? I'm sure, always, right? But I knew that that's one thing that I'm not going to get back. There's certain things we're not going to get back. And I would encourage everybody that if you haven't had the experience of taking your first child off to, whether it be school or the military or college or whatever, and then driving after that, reflecting on those first 18 years of parenthood, it causes you to reflect, to say, what did I do well and what could I do better moving forward? And your point there, Stephanie, about when your kids say, let's go do this, find a way to say yes, right? Now, the opportunity to say yes to everything requires that when they're not asking to go do something or spend time with you, that you're actually crushing it in business, right? I'd love to hear from you. What does that look like for you, right? You've obviously created success at a very high level. What advice could you give to those who are listening that say, I would love to have that abundance mentality, right? To where I can go do that, but I have a little more scarcity than I'd like to right now. what advice can you give them to really crush it to where you can afford both in time and resources to say yes to more things?
Yeah, excellent thought. Uh, you know, crushing it in business is is saying yes to your family. It is saying yes to the life you want. So give yourself permission to do that. That is not that's not the point of what we're getting at is spend all your days playing volleyball in the front yard and don't do your work, right? But it's getting yourself to a place where you can be in a place of abundance and give permission to cut a few things out and add them back in later. So remembering that when I do these things for my business, when I do these things for my clients, when I do these things to show up for my team members, it is saying yes to your family. It is saying yes to the life that you want, because that's what creates that. And for the parents, I mean, your little people are watching. They're watching you crush it in business. They're watching you crush it in life. And I remember even when my kids were really, really little and I was doing my at-home exercises and they were just having a fit, like crawling all over my legs and stuff. And I thought, I should feel bad. I'm ignoring my kids so that I can get my workout in. And then I had that mental click, like, no, I'm setting an example for my kids of what a healthy lifestyle looks like, and that it's not all about your immediate need of my attention. It's about that counterbalance that, if you let mom do this important thing right now, I can be a better parent for you and I can create a better life situation for you so that we can have these moments. So helping your kids or helping the people around you understand that and respect that and support you in that is what gets you to that point. I will say to my family, all right, now's work time. And if you allow me this time for my energy to go to this place in my business right now, that will then earn us this time with no distractions next week or come Friday or whatever, and set that as a goal for yourself and as a goal for your family, and everyone participates in it. I mean, this is the first summer this is going to sound so bad as a parent. I typically cannot wait to get my kids back to school so they will get out from under me and I can get back to work. And now they're a little bit older. They are participants in what we're doing instead of just observers or kind of in the way. And this year, I am sad to send my kids back to school because they have been such big help to the businesses that my husband and I have, that we actually would prefer them home working with us. But that was a shift. Like, now they're participating. They're working towards the big family goal too.
That's what a fun stage of life where, right? And probably a shift for you that it's not just that they're helpful now, but maybe you've matured in the way that you interact with them, right? Is that they're not just work, they're workers, right? They're helpers. They're not just needing help, but they're helpers. I'm curious for you, Stephanie, when you think about your commitment to your business, which, as you've said, opens the door for you to have abundance time and resources with your family. How do you allocate, like when you're saying, okay, today I'm going to commit these hours? Do you focus more on the time spent or the activities done, right? Is it like, if I make X number of contacts and secure X number of listings, then I'm free to go do these things? Like, is there some way that you've kind of positioned your life to where you give yourself the freedom to say yes to more things outside of work once you accomplish a certain number of stuff? If so, what does that look like for you?
Interesting thought on that. I do it two different ways because it depends on what's available. So today is a perfect example of, I know how much time I have in my day that allows me to do the important work. So I've set that time aside and I've told myself I have until this time, until I need to walk out the door, go serve a client, and then pick the kid up from school. So I'm going to grind in that time and let the result be what it is, because I know that if I just focus on the result, I'm always going to feel like I'm coming up short, because there is a delayed result in this business. So I'm going to do 3 hours worth of connecting with my clients, scheduling my marketing. That does not mean that by the end of that 3 hours, I'm going to have a new listing, right? So I can say I did the time, and that gives me permission to move on. There are other days where the amount of time that I have is restricted because I do want to say yes to something else. So I can give myself permission where I say, okay, I took care of my clients, the listings are fresh on the market, those offers are put in, whatever the important things were. And I may say, I didn't get some of that extra work done due to the restraint of time, but I did what was important, so I can check the box of a day of accomplishment and give myself permission to move on.
So you have almost like a core group, like these things have to be done, right? Once I do these things, my client, it's typically client care, right? The commitments you've made to your clients. Then at that point, should my family need me, then I'm free to do that. But if I don't have other commitments calling at that point, then I expand that into more proactive activities to generate additional business. Is that maybe how I understand that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can shift that through the day. Not every day is going to be as fruitful as the next or the last day. I do time block on my calendar, my lead gen time, my marketing time, things that I know are important to stay on top of my business, but I may have to move that. I may be very entrenched with a transaction in the couple of hours that I have available before I want to turn it off and focus on something that is important in my life. I may not get to that, but I'm going to move it to the next day, and it's going to happen by the end of the week. So that's my counterbalance. Like, today, not the most productive day, but tomorrow has to be the most productive day to make up for it. So I don't measure myself every day. I measure myself at the end of the week.
I like that, because I think, we tend to maybe be too soft on ourselves at times and too hard on ourselves at other times, because we just are too rigid in the parameters that we've given ourselves to accomplish X activities, right? Where if we expand that a little bit and say, this is the amount of work I need to get done by the end of the week, and then erase and replace, right? When we have something that has to go at that time frame that we've blocked out for this, rather than just feeling down about it, we just simply replace it to somewhere else in the day or the week and keep our momentum up. If there's one thing that I've learned in business, is that momentum is such an important factor, right? In fact, I was listening to Lessons of a Billionaire just recently, and he was talking about one of the most important things is don't lose momentum. Like, momentum is your advantage, right? It's that energy, it's that belief, it's that confidence that carries you not just to do more activities, but to do them with such a confidence that the people around you trust you and want to be in business with you, et cetera. And you can't afford to lose that momentum. And I think sometimes maybe we overthink, well, I can't do this. Well, I didn't do it. Well, I'm not good enough. And then it gets, all of a sudden, we're like, just do it later. Like, stop overthinking it. Just do it later, right? Don't lose momentum. And I love your flexibility there to realize, and I think that probably lends itself to why you get so many client referrals, is that ahead of out chasing, as maybe some would call it and some would do, the next opportunity, you're doubling down and ensuring that the opportunity you're currently serving is truly served at the highest level before you go looking for an additional opportunity. And I think what ends up happening is that breeds another opportunity, right? Is that those people are like, man, Stephanie was all in on us. She took care of us at such a high level that's absolutely, who you should use. And now you've got that reputation in the community that people know that and trust that about you, to where it's you don't have to go hunting as much for the next opportunity, because your existing clients are introducing you to the next, as well as your professional partners. People in your community know that this is the one who you should go to. This is the one you can trust, right? And they want to introduce their clients to you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because I always say to myself and my team, is a happy client, and not just a thanks for selling my house happy client, but a client that really appreciates and sees everything that you've done, and you've done the right things at the right times to ask for a referral and to let them know how important that is throughout the transaction. That is more important than any other lead gen that we can do. So if you had to choose, if you've only got 3 hours, let's say I have one of my realtor friends, I'm watching her right now. She's just sending her littlest off to preschool, and she's like, that's going to be 3 hours, 2 times a week. This is the biggest level of freedom that I've experienced as a parent, right? She's in that stage of life. So if you only have 3 hours, 2 times a week, and you need to choose, do I do my lead gen or sign up for something new, or do I take really good care of my database and my clients? Always choose that, because that is your lead gen. That will result in the next piece of business. And like you said, staying ahead of the opportunities, that was something that came up with my team. There was a week this summer where all 3 of us top producers on the team were on vacation at the same time. And we were okay with that because of, we stayed ahead of taking care of our clients. And then we all knew that, all right, this is going to be a bit of a working vacation. We're all going to have to answer our phones. But the point to that is leads still came in, even though we were not actively pursuing them. We still booked listing appointments. We still captured $1 million plus buyer opportunities, while all 3 of us top producers on the team are on vacation at the same time. And I told them it wasn't about the work we did this week. It was about the work we did 90 days ago that brought these opportunities today, so that you can be on vacation and the phone still rings. And by that, what I mean is the work you did 90 days ago of nurturing your database, staying in front of the long-term nurture opportunities, and cultivating really powerful relationships with your referral partners is what got the phone to ring. They didn't know we were on vacation, and we still answered the phone and said, awesome, I can get to you on Monday. Let's book an appointment. And nobody balked about it.
It's really fun to hear you kind of slide in a topic that, I'm really passionate about, which is referrals from other professionals, right? I think everybody that probably follows the show knows that, but in case there's any new listeners, right, the Upstream model is the essence of that, is that there are people out in the community that take just as good of care as their clients as Stephanie does, and they're in a different industry. Maybe they're a financial advisor, maybe they're a tax professional, right? Maybe they're an insurance agent, and they have that similar care, is that they put more emphasis on taking care of their current clients than out trying to chase another one, knowing that that existing client is going to create the next opportunity for them. And when those professionals connect, it's kind of like the Avengers, right? You've got like all these superheroes that are coming together, and they know that they're not going to be able to serve their clients in items outside of their own profession. And so they need other superheroes in these other industries that they can refer to. And all of a sudden, your firepower of how many people you can serve and that referral network explodes, because now you're dealing with professionals who have an entire database of curated people who have that same level of expectation of really high standards. And it becomes a really easy way for these other professionals to introduce their clients to you and vice versa, because you all maintain that really high standard of care, which is super fun to hear.
And these are clients that want to work with you and that see you as a professional, and they will wait for you. This is not a lead call, a speed to lead. This is not a speed to lead that if I don't answer this call in the middle of dinner and step out of the restaurant and take this call, I'm going to lose this lead because they will just call the next person. These are not those clients. These are the clients that call you and say, I want to work with you. What does it take to work with you? And it's such a shift. And that right there is where you find that balance, where you can say, I'm playing volleyball with my daughter outside right now because in a couple months the rain's coming and we're not going to be playing volleyball outside, right? So I want to take advantage of that. And when the phone rings, they're going to leave a message. because it's 7 p.m. and they don't expect the highest level professional to be answering their phone at 7 p.m. And these are the clients that say, oh, I understand you're on vacation. Not a problem. I want to respect your time. Can we meet when you get back? These are the clients that apologize for texting you on the weekends. This is, and it does exist, you guys. If you're not living like this and doing business like this, you might be thinking, oh, there's no way. Real estate agents are expected to be on call 24/7. And I could pull my phone up right now and show you my best clients that did text me over the weekend. And they say, I am so sorry to bother you on a holiday weekend. I just have one quick question. And they're not having an expectation that I'm on call for them 24/7.
And the only way you get to that is, number one, you are a professional that takes such good care of people during business hours, right? And that you align yourselves with referral sources, not just your clients, but other referral sources who speak so highly of you, who edify you, that people are willing to wait for you, right? Because again, if they're finding you through some online portal, it's just as easy, almost like a Tinder app, just swipe and find the next one, right? And it cheapens, just like that cheapens the romantic relationship world. It also, by the way, cheapens the business relationship world. It's the same concept. Swipe, go to the next. Swipe, go to the next. I don't care, right? I just need someone to open this door for me. And if you're operating that way, allow Stephanie and I to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. The world that she just described is not some like myth. It's not some fantasy land that doesn't exist. Like, that's actually what she's built. Right. But again, it comes down to, number one, having really high standards and pouring into your clients at a really high level. And then aligning with other professionals in your community who have a similar high standards, and then edifying each other so that the clients that are being introduced recognize that you're worth the wait. You're worth the wait to get to business hours, right? Or when you're back from vacation. And this is not brain surgery. No one's gonna die. They can wait till tomorrow, right? We all know that. But when clients have no differentiation between you and the next person on the online portal, they've got no reason to wait. I'll just go to the next, right? So do yourself a favor and, again, pour into your clients, right, Stephanie? I think that would be maybe the first step of really enhance your client experience, step one. Step two, start to build a professional network around you of other professionals in your community who do the same. Like, look for those people. Sit down, talk to them. Say, tell me about your client experience. If they don't have much to say, that's a problem, right? If they've got lots to say, that's a good sign. Align yourself with them. Say, are you open to having the opportunity for me to introduce my clients to you when they have a need in your industry, right? And start that dialogue with them. If they reciprocate, now you've got somebody who you can really do a lot of good with. And that's what Stephanie's done, right? That's what I've watched her do over the years, and she's done a fantastic job at it. And now she gets to live that life where she has abundance in business, and she's got the abundance of family life as well, because she's got clients who respect her, and for good reason.
I mean, I learned it all from you, Justin.
Overstatement of the day, folks, but I appreciate you giving me any small credit there. I'll take it, but definitely not all. So, any final words, Stephanie, as we really kind of wrap up? Again, this is meant to be a kickstart into the fall. What you do right now will have a significant impact upon how your year ends up. Like today, what you're doing today will impact how your year ends up, and be a nice Kickstarter for 2026, right? I don't think we should understate that you're making decisions about what 2026 is going to look like right now. This is designed to give you an added oomph towards get going, keep high standards. And when I say get going, I don't mean just in business. I mean in actually living the life that your family deserves as well. Any final words from you, Stephanie, as we wrap up?
Just go into action. I'm all about action. Just give me the action steps and I'll make it happen. So as we're here, I mean, it's September 2nd today. So it's the beginning of a new month, beginning of a new season, essentially, in the year. So go into action with acknowledge, what did my summer look like? Did I do something that needs to be adjusted? Did I not spend enough time with my family or the things that are important? And now I need to counterbalance that. Or if you did the other way.
Sorry, we got excited here at the end. Keep going, Stephanie, keep going.
Okay. If you were the other way and you didn't spend enough time on your business and you'd spend a lot of time having fun, just acknowledge that and say, where do I need to shift the pendulum back? Where do I need to counterbalance that? What do I need to put back in? What do I need to take out? And evaluate, what do I want the rest of the year to look like in my business and my personal life? And how can I create that system to have that? And if you want that life of abundance in business and abundance in personal life, and having permission to say no and then being able to add back what's most important, like if you want that, you have to go out and create a different way of business if you don't have that right now. And those results are going to come 90 days from now. So you're asking, what do I want the holiday season to look like? Do I want to not answer my phone between Christmas and New Year? If I want that, today is the day to do that work.
Puts it in perspective, right? It's like, what do I want my holidays to look like right now? What do I want 2026 to look like? It's all decided right now. Stephanie, thank you for sharing so much with us today. Always so fun to talk with you and to get kind of an insider's view as what it looks like to build a business and life like you've built. I think there's so many that would love to have that, and appreciate you always. And to all those who are listening here today, we, again, as you see here, the invitation on the screen, if you're watching it live, if you found value, share this episode with a friend, right? It's a way to share your appreciation with me and Stephanie for creating this content, as well as an opportunity for you to lead other people and show value to them. So with that, our final request are these 3 simple words, and they are: go think bigger. And if Stephanie and or I can be of help to you, if you're a real estate agent in the industry and looking to really implement some of the things that we're talking about here, we'd love to have a conversation with you. So reach out to us. We're pretty easy to find. So with that, Stephanie, appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.